the beginning of the people trusting and turning their no into a yes is beginning to trust the people in their community, that they don't hate them, they're not gonna throw cans at them. You know, our unhoused have been treated very poorly here by some people that are housed. And so I think taking this conversation back to your friends and family and saying, let's look these folks in the eye and just maybe smile at them today. You know, that really helps. It really does help that they're seen and they're not, you know, that they're seen and you have a kindness and a warmness towards them. I think that will go miles. But also support local nonprofits that are trying to do this work. It's expensive work, and you know, people need to eat, and we got to keep the electricity on. And so supporting that, I think almost all of the organizations run off of a lot of volunteers. You know, volunteer with somebody. The family kitchen, you know, you know, connect with someone that does street outreach and go out and start meeting that. Like they have a story. All of them have a story. And yeah, you can bring us a meal. They love having home cooked meals. Like my dream is that more people in the community are developing community with these folks, because that's what's going to change. That's what's going to change.
This city, with what we have funded as far as shelter, everything is for 3 years. That's how much money was out there. That's how much money we went after. That's how much money we contracted. So our contract with Central Oregon Villages is 3 years. And as of today, after that 3 years, we don't know how we fund things. That includes navigation, who's actually running through money quicker because they're serving, we built the model on 80 people per night, and this winter they were at 136. And so my dream is to find a place and a way to keep operational funding coming, because we're facing this cliff, and we'll continue to look for it. And so my hope is that the city will continue to prioritize having somebody, and not just for me, but somebody who's looking for that money and can bring it into the community and keep these places going, because I believe it is important. I hope for more low barrier shelter, and I hope we find a place that we can create for folks to camp, so we can meet the woman who does not want to leave her RV with a place where she can go and be safe and live for as long as she needs to.
So, I'll take a shot at it as well. I know we all had deer in the headlights look whenever you asked the question, but I also know that there's a lot of really smart people in our area that are trying to figure out that answer, right? There's the Central Oregon Intergovernmental Conference that is trying to take this on. I see council. Yeah. So there is the HLC, Homeless Leadership Coalition. There is Central Oregon Thrive. There's Central Oregon Fuse. There's a lot of organizations out there that are working really hard to find those answers. One of the industries that they're really looking at is the medical industry. Pacific Source is really stepping up and helping out with funding services for houselessness. Looking for St. Charles, and there's lots of different organizations out there and different ways to look at this that we haven't even thought of, that people are sitting around the table and thinking about it. And we need all of you to be thinking about it as well, and giving to it, counsel.
Can I add something? So my name is Mike Riley. I'm one of the Bend City Councilors. I just wanted to echo a couple things, and that's partly what Nikki said. My day job is I run the environmental center in downtown Bend, and we had a homeless camp outside the environmental center all of last summer, and it was quite an education. But I think one of the things that was very successful was just making sure we connected with people, like Nikki was talking about, and make them feel welcome, but also asking them for what we needed, to be respectful for what was going on right there. They weren't on our property, but they were immediately adjacent to and in the right of way. I think that's just important to make them feel like they're part of our community and not othering them. I think what Amy said is really important. I mean, we can get into it if you want to on all the fiscal, financial challenges local governments or our government in particular faces, but that operating revenue question for even just what we have today, right? There's a huge need for more, is really important. So we need to be talking to our state legislators, and you need to be talking to us about how we prioritize money. But I'll tell you, it's a very difficult job as a counselor. But how do we prevent having to close down the things that we already have, right, in terms of providing services? And I think the governor needs to hear that, and our state legislators do as well. I think the third thing I would say is that as elected officials, we need a lot of people to show up and tell us and support the things that when we try to do them. And that's not just as city councilors, but for the county commissioners as well. We really need a managed camp, I believe, in our community. You know, a couple of them, they don't have to be on the large scale Portland's talking about in terms of numbers, but we need to learn how it can work in our community practically. There are some, I think, maybe emerging opportunities. We'll see what happens over the next few months, where we can partner with the city and the county, but we need people to come and say, we want this to happen, and we support it, and to lean in, because we tend to hear, as Amy referred to earlier, people like to yell at the city a lot. But we don't often hear as much of the, yes, this is the right thing, let's make this happen. So I just encourage all of you, when you feel ready, to stand up and support doing things even when they're hard, because it is, I understand why people are uncomfortable about things happening in their neighborhood, but it's always somebody's neighborhood, right? And we really see that as counselors. So how do we make some of these things happen? So I just ask you to show up and support those kinds of activities as we move forward and when the opportunities do arise.
How do we find out about opportunities where it would be good to have community support? Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, I would just continue to pay attention to the newspapers. If you're not engaging with some of the nonprofits in the community already, getting involved with them in different ways, and I'm assuming that they will communicate with folks. Pay attention to the council if you're able to what's just on our agenda. You know, some of them, there's things happening in the background right now. There's a property east of town, and I think it's kind of been in the media already, that's being looked at. There's some churches at the corner of Hamby and Highway 20, that may be one that happens, we'll see. So just keep paying attention, and then, you know, write us and say, is it time to weigh in, or ask Amy, or ask Nikki, or, you know, or Roger, and you'll figure it out that way.
Thanks. One more question, and then we have to close up.
This is actually not a question, this is an answer for this lady. So I'm gonna make a shameless pitch for an organization that I'm a lead for, and that's Bend Yimby. We exist, yes, in my backyard. We have a Facebook page.
Yes.
And anybody can sign up, it's not closed, and we're always posting, here's a project, please write in, please go to city council and say we support this, here's why. We have social meetups, you can come and talk to people about what you're afraid of, or what other ideas you have. So, yeah, we've been around for about 6 years, and that's what we do, is we say yes.
I'll join tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for
It is yes. It's time to say thank you to our panelists, Roger and Amy and Nikki. Thank you for taking the time. The work you all do at each of these sessions that we've had, I look at the people and I know them well enough to know what their lives are like every day, and for them to take some time to talk to all of us is precious. So thank you very much for that. And to all of you, thank you for being engaged. We need this so badly in the realm that we work in. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for just being here. Please do go out and talk to others about what you've heard and learned, and ask more questions, and stay engaged. And do pay attention to the next one coming up. Our real hope is to kind of dig in and figure out some things that maybe we can do, actual actions that we can follow up on for having had all these conversations. So thank you all for your time.